Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. It's your girl, Helen Edwards-Ann.
January Liddell. Aloha.
January, we have a special guest today. Do you want to share about her?
Teresa Velardi is the CEO and founder of Authentic Endeavors Publishing, a hybrid publishing company she launched in 2010. With over 14 years experience and hundreds of published books, Teresa has dedicated her career to helping authors bring their stories to life. As an editor, author, and passionate advocate for storytelling, she uses her talents to guide others through the transformative process of seeing their words published. Authentic Endeavors began with short story compilations featuring multiple authors, but quickly evolved to support individual writers pursuing their dreams of publishing their own books. Whether it's helping someone fulfill a lifelong goal or amplifying a compelling story that needs to be shared, Teresa's mission is to empower authors and make their voices heard, which she did for me. So Teresa is my very own publisher, and I love her and I admire her work and all the things that she does, even behind the scenes. So Teresa is definitely a heart of gold, a daughter of God. She just exudes that characteristic. So I absolutely adore Teresa. So welcome to the show, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, January. I feel the same way about you, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to help you get your book, your first book, Alina the Super Saver, out into the world. Yeah. She's a cute little bee with a purpose and a plan.
Yes, and I'm excited for the second one. Thank you. We're in production for that one. Woo!
Yes, yeah. Yes.
We'll talk about that later. Teresa, so I want to find out, inquiring minds want to know, what is or hybrid publishing and how does it differ from traditional and self-publishing?
Okay, that's a great question, and I'm sure that this will help your listeners to make some decisions for themselves when it's their time to write their book, because we all have a story, right? Everybody has a story, so and everybody gets to bring their story to life. So hybrid publishing is the middle ground between traditional publishing and self-publishing. Let's go to self-publishing first. Self-publishing, you do it all yourself. You find your people to help you with the illustrators. You have to take care of everything and then figure out the logistics on how to put it all together and get it up on Amazon and or Ingram, which is a big distribution platform, or have it published, have it printed locally. A lot of people are printing it locally to them, getting a printer. I have one that I use for people who need books for events and whatnot. And I know, January, you've done a lot of events with bringing your story to children and helping them to learn about the content, which is financial wisdom is what you're teaching. So that's basically self-publishing. You do it all yourself, you figure it out on your own and have at it, right? Now, traditional publishing, on the other hand, is where you have to choose a company, first of all, and a big traditional publishing company requires you to have a large platform because their main goal is one thing: to sell books, okay? In order to get into that arena, you have to have a book proposal. You got to get an agent. You have to have, like I said, a huge platform. They get most of the royalties. You get the usual contracts with big companies like that. They have a clause that you can't do anything with your content after it's published with them. So, and which we're going to talk about in a minute about the hybrid publishing. But sometimes they take the copyright and then you lose the rights to your work and you can't do anything with it, on top of the fact that they take most of the royalties. And if by chance they give you an advance of some sort because you may have a big platform, if you don't sell enough books to meet that advance, guess what? You got to pay it back. So I know a few people who have done this way, and luckily one of them was able to, sell enough books and got a pretty good deal on royalties. But there are other people that I know that just completely threw their hands up in the air and said, why did I do this? So it's good point. Every one of these has a good points and its bad points. Now, hybrid publishing, which is me, I do all the things that either you don't know how to do, you don't want to do, you can't do because you have no connections to get an illustrator or whatever. I help you put things together. We put everything together under your copyright. I just get permission to put it all together for you. You pay for my services. We put it up on Amazon. We put the book on Ingram. We help you to get some ideas for marketing. And guess what? You get all the royalties. We take no royalties. So that's what some hybrid companies will take a small royalty, but for the most part, whatever you make on the book belongs to you. So that's the difference between the three of them.
So I wanted to talk about your origin story. I know we're backtracking a little bit, but I wanted to ask Teresa, how did you get started? How did you get started with Authentic Endeavors Publishing?
So this is a good story. I was working with a bunch of women in a women's organization, and one of them was a very well-known speaker, and I was doing some event management for her. And we were in a car going from Phoenix, Arizona to Palm Springs, California. And I'm on the phone with one of the other people from the organization, managing a project to put an anthology book together, short stories, lots of authors, contributions from many people. And they were helping me to put it all together for the leader of this women's organization. And so I'm on the phone. And then when I got off the phone, the woman that I was in the car with, she said to me, Teresa, what are you doing? And I told her, I said, I'm helping manage this for whatever. And she said, why don't you have your own publishing company? I went, oh, well, if anybody knows the old V8 commercials, I could have had a V8. I didn't even think of it. I was working with and for other people. So she said, how about this? Let's put a plan together. You can make a presentation to the group. And if it all goes well, I'll be your first customer. So I said, okay, great. And that's exactly how the publishing company started.
That's such a great story.
I know, right?
I love it that you had somebody that believed in you and wanted to help you. She saw that you were already creating this service for other people, and why not make it a business? And it's something that you enjoy doing. I posted something yesterday and it said, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly. It doesn't feel like work. And I want to backtrack a little bit. Years ago, I'm a potter, I'm a ceramic artist, and we can talk about that too if you want. But years ago, I'm sitting at my wheel and I'm having a moment, and I'm like, all right, God, I know I'm supposed to leave this world more beautiful. When I, bring beauty to the world in one form or another, and leave it more beautiful than it was when I got here, when it's my time to leave. And so I said, is this what you want me to do? Is it all about the ceramics, or is there something else? And I heard in my heart something about books. I'm like, okay. And this was long before the other situation that I just told you. This was long before that. And I thought, oh, and then when I put it all together after that V8 moment in the car, I was like, okay, all right. And then I heard I got a series in my mind, and it was called The Daily Gift. And I clearly heard gratitude first. And I was like, okay. All right, so now I do a series of books called the Daily Gift Book Series. And the first one was gratitude, right there. And then the second one is hope. And then the third one, which we just released in November of 2024, is kindness. Now we're working on peace and friendship. So, and I find no coincidences that these books had to come out in that order. Because if you live a life of gratitude, if you have gratitude in your life, there is always hope, and you are a much more kind person, and that brings peace to the soul and brings you friends, right? So that's where those 5 titles come into play, and it's like no coincidence that they're coming about the way that they are. And it's just listen to the whispers of your heart, because they will give you information and ways that you're supposed to participate in this thing we call life.
See, this is why I love Teresa so much.
Yeah, those books are really cool and really beautiful. Question about those. Now, are those anthology books or is that your self-published book through
No,
your publishing company?
these are published through my publishing company, but they are anthology books. This one has, I think, this one has nearly 100 authors. The other 2 have about 80 authors in them. And now we are working with the Daily Gift of Peace. And my goal is to have 1 page for every day of the year. And so some authors will come in with more than 1 story, and whatnot. And I know that you 2 ladies have the opportunity to come on in and bring a story about peace to the next book. And I can't wait to see what you write.
I love it. I'm excited. Well, I'm in Daily Gift of Kindness.
Yes, you are.
That book is beautiful. I mean, all of your books are beautiful, but I specifically like that book because I read, some, and I was in your show. So
Yes.
I know some of the authors, so there's a special place in my heart for that book. But though that book just gives so much light and love when you read it, and
Mhm.
such a heartwarming book.
Mhm. And the thing about this is it also builds community around a around a topic, so you get a chance to be on my show, and then have the opportunity in the Facebook group that we created for the authors of the series to get to know one another and get to share what books you're working on. And we've done a book swap, and we've got a bunch of things going on. So I'm all about community as well, because we were not meant to do this life alone. We were meant to do this life together. And I believe we get the right people from the right source at the right time for the right purpose.
Actually, that leads me to another question. Do you vet manuscripts for quality or do you accept all submissions?
Um, I will look at all submissions. The quality factor is secondary to the subject matter. There are certain things that I will not publish. I had a circumstance that someone wanted to publish something that was very dark, and I said nope, and I will not publish things that are going to be what's the word I want to know? Victimizing anybody, or you creating controversy in the way that in such a way that they're um, either being I won't publish a cult, I won't publish pornography, I won't publish things that are going to be detrimental to the author or the people who are in the book. So I make sure that the stories have something to do with that they're transformative, that they have a lesson. The children's books, every one of the children's books has a lesson in it for the kids, a message of some sort. And that's what I look forward to from the author, whether it's a transformational story. This is what this is what happened, and now this is how I am, right? Or this is how it is. And then the other thing is it could be I've published memoirs, I've published short stories, I've published a lot of different things, but it can't be anything that is going to be like witchcraft or the occult or any of the things that we just talked about. So in that essence, yes, I do vet the manuscripts, and I have said no to several, but my goal is to really help people get their story told the way that they want to tell it in their voice, but that we have an agreement that it meets the genres, if you will, that I have lots of books on wellness, lots of books on spirituality. I have a Christian book imprint. So there's a lot that the company has to offer to anyone who wants to get their books published.
Yeah, I like that because I held a workshop for writers who are looking to publish, and I was thinking, what I let them know is that each publishing company takes on different genres.
Mhm.
And my question to you is, on your website, do you have that listed where people can go to and see what you will take and what you won't?
Mhm.
Because I think that's really important for publishing companies, so that way authors themselves aren't like, oh, feeling rejected when it's not about that. It's just who are you aligned with? Because there are publishing companies that will take everything that you mentioned that you decline. So I do
Exactly.
like that you have a specific idea of the authors that are aligned with you. That's actually really important, that you're not just somebody who's like, I'll take your money. You're like, you have a specific view and vision of what you want. Authentic Endeavors, which I love the name, by the way,
Thank
Authentic
you.
Endeavors Publishing will take.
Yeah. So the yes, authenticendeavorspublishing.com has everything on it, and you'll see the main company in the center, and then there's 4 blocks on there, with some pottery on there as well, and books on the shelf, because that's who I am. And we have Book Endeavors is the children's book platform, the general children's book platform. Recently, I felt moved to also add Kingdom Book Endeavors, and that's the Christian book platform. Now I have for children Kingdom Book Kids, Kingdom Book Kids, for people to have, if there's a children's story that is strictly a Christian story, then yes. The Daily Gift Book series goes under the Spirit Book Endeavors, because not everybody is Christian who writes in here, but everyone has their own spiritual belief, and that's where we put them. And then so the Wellness Book Endeavors speaks for itself. Anything having to do with wellness goes under Wellness Book Endeavors. And then the other thing is, if anything that I have doesn't fall into one of those categories, we put it where I started, Authentic Endeavors Publishing, so that everybody has a place within the company and is represented by the main company through the imprints that we offer.
Now, this question isn't on our list, but I am curious, how would an author determine whether a hybrid publishing route is the way to go? Like, what would they ask themselves?
Mhm. First of all, do I know what I'm doing? And if you don't know what you're doing, are you willing to put in the time to do the research to do it? Are you willing to stumble and make mistakes along the way? Because that's how we all learn, right? We do what we can, and then we try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I remember that one. If at first you don't succeed, do it again. Do it until you get it right. That might take you years, when I've done all of that beforehand and figured it all out, so that it makes it a lot easier. The other thing is like for the children's books, do you have someone who can actually do the work for you? I have an illustrator that I work with who's very talented. And when January came to me, and you're a perfect example, she said, I have an illustrator. I need someone to help me put the book together. We have to, take care of like any editing that was needed for the story. And I have all of these skills either myself or on my team. So when January came to me with what she had, and this is one of the reasons, and this is really important, there is no pricing on my website, because every single person who comes to me has a different need. So, I don't want people to have to pay for things that they don't need. A lot of these publishing companies will say, oh, our packages start at $5,000. Not here. When you have most of what you need put together, and you just need somebody to tweak it and do the uploads for you, to do the formatting for you, we do that as well. So it's not one size fits all. It's what do you need? We will help you get what you need at a price that you can afford to do so.
And I will say this, Teresa is actually very fair. She's very fair with, how she handles her business and which is why I like her. And she's very transparent. So not only is she fair, transparent, but she also gives more than what is written on that document. So yes, we signed a contract. She said all this, she's going to take care of all this, but she does this and then she goes above and beyond that, which is why I absolutely adore her. I do have a question for you, Teresa. Can you walk us through the process of working with an author from idea to published book?
Sure. So we do a consultation first, and then figure out exactly from that place where what they have, what they might need. So then they submit their manuscript, and your manuscripts are held in confidence until they are actually published. So there's no worry about somebody stealing your work within the company, because it all comes through me first, and I have it under lock and key until we are ready to reveal it to the world, or the people who are part of the process of getting it ready for you. And they all know lips are sealed until the cover is out there, so then I decide, okay, what do we need to edit this? We need to edit for grammar, for punctuation, for the flow of the story, and we get the manuscript ready. Then we decide, in the case of a children's book or in the case of any book, if you need artwork in there, what do you need? Where is it going to go? Do you have a cover designed for yourself already? We have cover designers, we have formatters to put it all together before it goes public. So when it goes through the process, so it's first the manuscript comes to me, the editing is done, the need for any artwork is created, and that's done. We do the editing piece, put the whole thing together, send it off to formatting, get it back, have the cover added to it, and then it gets revealed to the world. So
What are some key mistakes authors should avoid when self-publishing?
There are so many things to trip on when you're self-publishing. Avoid, okay, so first of all, avoid this, this will trip you up every time. Oh, I don't need an editor. And ultimately there's punctuation. A lot of people write the way they talk. Now, I have a sister who sounds like Fran Drescher. She talks just like her. And so if we were to say the word coffee, Coffee, she would say coffee, and it would have to be spelled Cawfee. And, I have run across people who phonetically spell what they say. So that's just a simple example, but there's a lot of things that we can trip on, especially if you're a first-time author. You may have taken creative writing in school, you may have taken classes on one thing or another that's relative to what you're presenting to the world, but ultimately we all need an editor. Even me, I send all my work to somebody else that I know and trust with my work, that my voice is going to be kept. That's the other thing too. When you get an editor for your self-publishing journey, you need to make sure that they don't change, that you don't get lost in the mannerisms and whatever that the editor brings to the table. So that's one thing that you want to watch out for. And then of course it's all the logistics. Are the pages the right size? Are the margins the right size? Are they going to fit into the template that the platform that you're going on requires for both printing and presentation in ebooks? Am I following the rules? And sometimes when we follow the rules, I don't know if you've ever seen that commercial where the woman is driving the car and all of a sudden she veers off and she's going to color outside the lines. Yeah, we all tend to do that. So, but when it comes to putting the book together, sad to say, but you got to follow the rules. So you have to have a little bit of that free spirit and go do what you want with your content, but you got to follow the rules when it comes to putting it together and getting it produced.
I think you hit so many of them on the head because it took me 5 years to publish my book and I went through five editors. And you're
Yeah.
absolutely right about that. One, I had to let go because she was trying to change my voice. And you're right about the whole writing the way you talk. Oh my gosh. I have a lot of slang to me and I really had to clean up a lot of it just because it was annoying and I didn't want to accept that at first until I got my readers back that were like, no. So
Mhm.
you're absolutely right about that. And another thing that you mentioned was the tech part of it. A lot of us aren't tech savvy. We just want to write. We're good writers. Some of us are bad writers, but the tech part, oh my gosh, like the fact that hybrid publishing can help you with all of that formatting. I mean, people think it's just easy. Oh, let me ask Google. No, there's not just formatting. There's what kind of page color do you want? What kind of page filling do you want? What kind of cover filling? Like, do you shiny, a matte? It's like picking makeup. Not all makeups are going to
Mhm.
look good and feel good on your face. There are certain tech parts of it that you've got to decipher between the two. And then on top of that, there's dealing with Ingram Sparks. Oh my God. Me and Ingram Sparks, we do not get along at all. They are like, for me, the worst thing ever. And it's not that they necessarily are the worst thing, it's that 7 years later, 8 years later, I think, I can't figure it out. I've hired people, I have tried to figure it out on my own. Just something in my brain does not click. So what did I do? I threw my hands up and I said, never mind, I'm not going to deal with them. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to try again because now I'm trying to publish two new books and I'm starting from scratch. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm gonna look for help this time. Before I did it the self-publishing, independent publishing way where I did it all myself. And I finally come to the terms like, you know what? It's worth putting the money out there so that way I stop wasting time, I stop getting frustrated, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to
Yeah.
invest for help because you don't want to waste your time. Don't waste it. Like they say the one great things that leaders do that are successful is they hire people who know more than them. And that's something I finally have realized. I mean, in my 40s have finally come to realize about this industry. So thank you for sharing those.
You're welcome. And I do have somebody on my team that one of the things that I assigned to her is getting your books up on Ingram, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to go through what I give the information, the necessary information, the categories. That's another thing. Categories. If you don't choose the right categories, your book is going absolutely nowhere. So that's where all that comes into play as well. So I give her all the information. She knows how. And then it becomes, I don't have to, you don't have to do like you're talking about, Helen, just, tearing your hair out, trying to figure it out all these years later. And when I could have asked somebody to help me along the way. So, uh, you know, maybe my company is part of your next book. Who knows? We don't know, you know?
Well, unfortunately for mine, it's got pornography in it.
Ah,
I have it's a very all-encompassing book based on freedom, and it's got a lot of erotica, a lot of F-bombs. But my new edition, I'm trying to just, cut out just a little bit of that, not too much. But what's interesting is uh when I made number one on the ebook best-selling list. I think it was like about a year ago in the
mhm,
spirituality category. I was like, I have
mhm.
no idea how that happened. I did not even know it was under spirituality. I don't even know where they got that from. Sure, there's some talk of spirituality in there in my life, seeking connection with God, but I was like, uh-oh.
So let me give you some information here. And this is another thing that you want to know as someone who's an author. You may think that your book only belongs in this category, that category, or whatever category. However, what the algorithms in the platforms do is this. For people who buy usually in, let's say, the spirituality category, okay, or somebody who buys only in wellness category, your book may fit into those categories. So what happens is once you put the book on, and this I'll speak for Amazon, Amazon decides that, okay, if you ever look at the bottom of your screen when you're looking at a particular book or whatever, people who bought this also bought this, right? So this may be in a completely obscure category from your mind, but yet people who are buying in the spirituality area may also be buying in the wellness category. So you're going to pick up that category simply because the algorithms follow the patterns of the purchases that people make, and it opens up a door that you didn't even know you had available to you. So that stuff is all part of the process. And you could go into spirituality with something that may not be perceived by you as being eligible for that category, yet it shows up there because of what I just told you.
That is so interesting that algorithms are also a part. I mean, of course, it should be, right? We're living in an internet type of world, and so that makes sense. Yeah, thanks for breaking that down.
Yeah.
What key marketing strategies do you suggest for new authors that can have a big impact in their author journey?
The first thing that you want to do is tell everyone you know. Tell everyone you know that you're writing a book, and you would really, even if you tell them, I really want your opinion. I think this is the route that I want to go, but I'm not really sure. So if you could give me your opinion, I would greatly appreciate it. One of the things that you can do that before you get published. And then when they give you a review or a testimonial, if you will, you can put those in the front of your book, and it would edify you as an author and what the content is. The other thing that you want to do is maybe choose a date to do a bestseller campaign where all those people that you told, or all those people that you asked on your website or on your social media platform, told them that you're releasing the book on that particular day. We do what's called a bestseller campaign, and it drives the book up to the upper levels of the various categories that you're in. That's one way to get eyes on your work. The other way, and this is really good for people who have children's books, is to do like January's doing. Go to local events where creative people are. Now, just because if you hear the word craft fair and you say, oh, I don't belong in the craft fair. Well, yes, you do, because writing is your craft and your book is your result. And so you're going to be able to share that from the standpoint of you're having created something unique to you that is available for the children. So a lot of people, I tell them, especially with children's books, get involved in local events. Call up the schools and ask them, tell them that you're a local author and that you want to go ahead and have a reading in the school. Now, I remember when my son was little, and this is a great technique. When he was in nursery school, have you ever heard of the story Where the Wild Things Are? Everybody's heard of Where the Wild Things Are, right? So the author of that book, when it first came out, and we're going back lots of years now, I won't tell you how many, but lots of years. We're going back a long time. I got a notification from the school that the author was coming to the school, and if we wanted to have a copy of the book signed by the author, please send in X amount of dollars with this slip and who you want the book addressed to. And you could get more than one if you had a niece or a nephew you wanted to get one for, whatever. And so the author knew ahead of time how many books to bring with them, that they would be signing them, they would be doing the reading to the children, and so you get a chance to sell books that way. The other thing is local libraries, they have story hour for children, right? So, and this is also good for anyone who's writing a book that's not a children's book. Lots of libraries have book clubs, and you can introduce your book to the librarian as a book that would be appropriate for a book club, for, like memoirs. I have somebody who's written a memoir, and as I read through her book during the publishing process, I was like, oh man, she's around the same age as me. And I remember when I was a kid, I had that happen to me, or, I remember, especially like I grew up I grew up in an area where it was a suburban area. And there were a lot of kids on my block. And we would play, the block is a street, by the way. Some people don't know what a block is. There were a lot of kids on my street, and we, after school, we all hung out together, and we would be out of the home from school into the house, grab a snack, out to play, right? And to come for dinner, my father would stand at the back door and whistle, and we knew that when he whistled, it was time for dinner. Instead of screaming, he just had this loud whistle. It was time for dinner. We went in, we had dinner, we did our homework, had family time, whatever. It was much more simple and much more community oriented back then. So, I related to her story. And I was like, okay, this would be great for a book club. This would be great for like just remembering what it was like when you were a kid, and walking that road, walking down memory lane. And her name of her book is called Walking Old Roads. Her name's Tammy Hayter, and she's just a really, she's working on her second one now. So I'm excited to see what she brings. Different stages of life, have different experiences. So get with the library, see what you can do as far as a book club or offering a partial reading. Sometimes coffee houses will have like open mic nights, and you can go to that. So, and here's the thing. There are three categories of that people become, quote, celebrity. Do you know what they are? Do either of you know what they are? Okay. I call it the AAA club. Actors, athletes, and authors. People want to know who you are, and how you roll, so to speak, and what you're writing about, and how they can, and when you sign a book for somebody with their name in it, oh, you thought you gave them gold, for God's sake. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's all good. So those are just a few ideas on how to get your book out there. Communities love to have and promote local authors. By the way, also, if you have a Barnes and Noble or a big box store in your neighborhood that you might want to do a book signing, a lot of times they will do that for local authors. So contact them, and each one of them has a different rule. They have different people in every store. Contact them and see if you can, number one, get your book on the shelves, which it will be available to them through the Ingram platform, by the way. And then they can help you to get eyes on your book and eyes on who you are by having a book signing in a local venue. Mom and pop bookshops are great for that too.
Yes, I love all of those. I love the idea that you said, talk about it. That's something that I'm always trying to do. I'm still working on talking
Mhm.
about it because, I deal with my own self-sabotage, like, oh, maybe I'm talking about it too much, but I got to kind of take the emotion out of it and talk about it. I love that you mentioned the library, and just one of my biggest challenges has been getting into bookstores because I'm not listed, my book is not listed as returnable. And when I try to call and change it, to list it as a refundable, I think it's refundable. Um, I think according to Amazon, I wasn't able to change it. So again, going back to the you don't know what you didn't know, and you're kind of doing it all on your own, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I have messed up so bad, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm republishing my first book, which means I got to bring my original book down when I decide to do that. And I thought this through so many times that there's so many things I wish I did differently that now I
Mhm.
get a chance to do that. And sure, it's starting over, but the biggest thing I'm probably going to lose is just the reviews, which were I think it's like 32. And in my mind, I feel like you're going to comment on that. Please do.
You may not lose your reviews because I had to do this for someone. So, a friend of mine said she wanted to write a book, and it ended up to be an enormous series of children's books. And so, when we discussed a book, we decided to put it on my platform, on my account, and then I would just, pay her the royalties. And now that there's so many, we made a decision that whatever is on my account is now going to her account. And the big concern was, in fact, the reviews. So if you are publishing the same book under a new ISBN number, because you have to get a new ISBN number with Amazon, right? Under a new ISBN number, the ASIN number, which marks that particular product, will stay the same. The reviews follow the ASIN number, not the ISBN number.
What if you buy your own ISBN number?
Doesn't matter.
As long as you take that. Oh, okay, this is good news. All right, I'm loving this conversation. Very great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, because the ASIN number identifies the product. So it could be a book, it could be makeup, it could be whatever. If for some reason you're taking something down and then you're going to put it back up again, and it's mostly books because you have to unpublish and then republish the book once you redo it and put it up there. But I know for a fact because I've seen it happen, the ASIN number will remain the same because the cover, the interior, everything is the same. Nothing has changed in the eyes of Amazon. Even if you've modified the content a little bit, nothing has changed in the eyes of Amazon. And here's where your formatting comes into play. If you followed the rules and you don't have to change anything, everything that will be with the next one that you put up there, including that ASIN number that will that actually is linked to your reviews, and then they'll follow over for you. So,
Teresa, are there any common myths about publishing that you'd like to debunk? Since we're talking about this ISBN number, it felt like a good question to ask.
let's see. Okay, so let's talk about the ISBN number because that's really people think, oh, I don't have to buy an ISBN number. Amazon will give one to me. Well, guess what? If Amazon gives you your ISBN number, that's the only place you're going to be able to publish it is on Amazon. The ISBN number belongs to them, not you, and you have to follow their rules in terms of anything else. So when you have your own ISBN number, it follows you, it follows your work. Your copyright belongs to you with that ISBN number. And by the way, you can also register a copyright with the Library of Congress. You can also get on the Library of Congress list simply by going to there is a website to go to. I don't know it off the top of my head. I have it programmed into my computer and I just go click and there I am, so, but you can get a Library of Congress number and you can actually send them a copy of your book and your book will be in the actual Library of Congress. Yeah. Uh-huh. And it will follow you wherever, it'll follow your ISBN number. If you have to republish, you should actually get a new Library of Congress number to follow the new ISBN. So that big myth, like, oh, I don't have to buy an ISBN number. Amazon is gonna provide me one, or such and such a platform is gonna provide me one. They're not the only ones, but when you buy an ISBN number, you cannot sell it to anyone else. It belongs to you, and the information gets input for your book and that book and that book only, and that's what sticks with it.
So in the case of if we work with you and you buy our ISBN numbers, do those ISBN numbers Are they owned by you or are they owned by the author?
They're owned by the publishing company. They're owned by the publishing company. The ISBN numbers are owned by the publishing company, but the copyright belongs to the author. And it says that right in the copyright page in the book, that it says that that no copy, and you can't copy anything from it. You can't utilize the information without permission. It's the same thing all the way around, for as copyright. But the ISBN number belongs to the publishing company. Like this is yours, January. So there's your ISBN numbers. It gives the content for the copyright page, showing that you indeed have the copyright. Your illustrator has the copyright to the work that she did, and it's all protected underneath the ISBN number and the copyright in that book.
Helen, did you have any other questions? I have one final question for her.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
did have a question. Well, more of a statement question, but you mentioned about the ISBN. If Amazon gives you the ISBN or ASIN, that they own it. So one of the things I found interesting was with my paperback, I own the ISBN, so I can put it anywhere. I mean, it's all over, it's online for Barnes& and Nobles, Walmart, Target. And then for the ebook, they assign me an ISBN. And I remember I got a notification that they had found it on the Apple bookstore, and they were like, if you don't take it off there, we're going to have to, remove it from one of our programs we have. And I was like, oh my gosh, first of all, I don't even know how it got on there. I may have put it up there by accident, again, not knowing what I'm doing. So I didn't know how to remove it. And then they took me off, Amazon took me off their e-Kindle program. And I was so bummed. I was like, oh man, but again, another thing that I'm like, do I want to spend a lot of time fixing this if I'm taking the book down by the end of the year? And I started thinking about what you just said about the ISBN, and I wondered that may be the reason. I don't know, but it sounds like it could be because they own the ISBN.
Okay, so first of all, Kindle does not require an ISBN, period. They don't require an ISBN number. However, if you publish your ebook, okay, so when KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, which is the publishing arm for Amazon, when they came about, they had there were no other ebook readers and whatnot out there. Okay, it was unique to Kindle. They didn't require an ISBN number, and they still don't require an ISBN number. Where you get tripped up with the Kindle, there are two different areas that Kindle covers. So you can get paid a lesser amount of a royalty if you want to put it in this way, and then you can distribute to other areas. But if you choose the greater royalty, they are protected. Kindle is protected by virtue of the fact that they're paying you extra money to strictly have your ebook with your Kindle book with them. Okay, so if you choose that, can't go anywhere else. Okay, so and then if you want to put it up on its distribution platform like Ingram that we're talking about today, you do have to have an ISBN number for your ebook, for your every iteration of your book, whether it be paperback, hardback, audiobook, ebook, you must have a different ISBN number for every single way that you present your book to the world. There's got to be an ISBN number. Let me clarify something. ISBN and ASIN are not the same. ASIN is a product identifier for the company where it is. So Amazon has ASIN numbers that match the product. Your ISBN number is there for identification, not just of the product, but the content. So that's where that comes in. Nothing else has ISBN numbers except written work. So that's where that is. So now I had a situation where somebody had an issue with publishing a particular type of book as a Kindle book. Technology has evolved in such a way that if you have something, let's say, so I have a journal. I don't have it with me. I don't have it on my desk, but anyway, um, I have a journal. I publish it as a print book, and I also put it up as an ebook. Going back to a couple of years ago when I published it. Now, if I want to put that up there, I can't because there's no way to interactively participate. It's a journal. You can write in it, right? There are other things in there that's not that's readable, but it's considered to be a low content book. If you have a book like that, it's not necessarily long for the Kindle atmosphere, but there are ways to get it out there with different products that are available or different platforms that are available that are interactive with the tablets that you use today, that you can actually write on them. But that's Kindle is not one of them. So they will just shoot you down, leave you there, and so sorry, bye-bye. But the bottom line is there are ways to get it out there, even in that platform, in that format, if you want to have a journal type of book. And then once you take the pages out this is the other thing. If you take the pages out that are interactive and you just give the information in a different manner in that particular version of the book, no problem, they'll take it.
Teresa, I want to know about your advice. What advice do you have for authors who feel overwhelmed by the publishing industry to help them enjoy the process?
So talk to somebody that you know who may be an author, who may have had an experience with a company that can help you, or may have had, or may need some coaching. We do that also. So there are ways that that you can get your information that you need. Ask questions, write your questions down, ask for a consultation. There are ways to have time with someone like me, even if you just want to get just some input so that you can do it on your own. We have a consultation. We have consultation. You can learn a lot about what you need to do if you have someone who knows how to do it. So if you're on that journey where you have a book and you want to know, is this publishable? The answer is probably yes, but you just had to find the right publishing people to help you along the way. If self-publishing is the way to go, there are a lot of people who have courses on how to self-publish. There are also a lot of people who have hybrid companies like me and have ways that you can work together, as I did with January, as I've done with multiple authors over the years that I've been doing this work. And the beauty of it all is that we get to share the experience. You get somebody else who's cheering you on and having the experience with you and giving you the courage and the information that you need in order to be able to show up. That's it. One of the things, the first time that I was asked to write something, even before I thought about being in the publishing business, it was something, I don't even remember what the book was, but I do remember what I thought when I was asked to contribute to that book. Well, first of all, who's going to want to hear every little demon that lives in the back of my head, the committee, I call them. Okay, the itty bitty shitty committee. If you want to know for sure, that's what I call them. All right. So there's also that little voice that says, well, who's going to want to read what you have to write? And then what are you going to write about? And oh my God, if I write about that, is the person that I'm talking about going to know that it's them? And are they going to sue me or blah, blah, blah? You don't know the stuff that goes on in your head. Well, I'm here to tell you, it's all good. It's all good.
You were so funny. I love that itty bitty shady committee.
Oh my God, I have that committee like big time in my head. I still have that shitty kid, what you said, in my head, working on these new books, even though I've already self-published the first one and I'm just republishing it again. I still have those same thoughts in my head. But you're right, it's going to be okay. And I really love that you mentioned, if I heard you correctly, you do offer your services outside of your publishing company for like people like me who wouldn't probably qualify for your publishing company, but I would need your expertise. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, you can set up consultations. Yeah, and then if you're somebody who has something who meets the requirements to be in my publishing house, then whatever the consultation was, I take that off of your contract anyway. So it's money well invested. Yeah. So yeah, so it's good
I want to
stuff.
share. I want to share something because Teresa, yes, she's my publisher, but she's also my friend, and I call her my sister. She's my big sister because she just watches over me. And throughout the whole entire process, Teresa is like walking my hand throughout that whole thing. And once it was published, I remember that day that it was published, Teresa, because I was lying in bed and you called me and you were like, "Did you see it? Did you see?" She gets excited just as I get excited. Like this is her first ever book. And that is huge for me. It was huge for me because I didn't feel alone and I felt like she was right there next to me, just cheering me on. I'm like getting emotional because she's amazing. She's an amazing person and publisher, and I'm just so thankful, that you're in my life, Teresa, because this has been a fun journey, and we're doing the second book, and then all the way to the eighth. So we have a lot more work to do, but Teresa's just phenomenal. So if ever you are a children's book or any type of author, because she does publish she mentioned already, other genres, just talk to her, have a conversation with her. That first conversation I had with Teresa, was it. I talked to many publishers prior to talking to her, but talking to Teresa, I just felt like she would care for me and care for my book as much as I would care for my book. And that's why I trust her so much because it's not for her, right? She doesn't get any royalties at all. So whenever I call her and I ask her about marketing, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? She just is so open to sharing and just a really good person. So, what is next for Authentic Book Endeavors, Teresa?
Oh, more people like you, January. Thank you so much for your beautiful words. I call you my Hawaiian princess, my little sister Hawaiian princess. So yeah, I just want to let people know that, a lot of times you've been told that your story doesn't matter or your story is not good or whatever. But if you've got that little burn, a little flame started in your heart that you want to be an author, follow that, because I don't believe that there's anything that's done for no reason. There is a reason. When you've got that feeling inside you that you have something that you have to share, follow it, however it is that you choose to go. And if you need help along the way, there are people like me who are willing to help you with the knowledge that I've been blessed to have and the team that I'm so grateful for, to help you bring your story to life in the world. Besides, you get to be a little bit of a celebrity in your town. Remember, authors, actors, and athletes are the AAA club for, if celebrity is part of who you want to be, start with writing. If you don't know what you want to write, or here's another thing too, and I know we're going to go soon, but I just want to say this. If you want to dip your toe in the water of writing and you don't know you don't know what to do, go to dailygiftbookseries.com. The next book is A Daily Gift of Peace, and the one following that is A Daily Gift of Friendship. To participate in these books, all you have to write is 250 words. And one of the other reasons that I put these books together are for the authors who are in my company already with their books. One of the things you want to do is get little bits and pieces of what you can write into various places and associated with other people who are walking the walk with you, so that you get seen by people who you may not have been seen by before. Does that make sense? So January has a beautiful little children's book. She has a story in A Daily Gift of Kindness. Now, everybody who's in A Daily Gift of Kindness, because her story and her biography are in there, and her beautiful picture too, by the way, are all in there. They get to know who she is. They can go to the website that she's able to publish in this book and learn more about who January is and what she's writing about, and potentially follow her and buy her books. So I call it cross-pollination. little bee thing going on there, right, January?
Oh my gosh, that was genius. Awesome. Oh my gosh, this has been a phenomenal conversation. I just absolutely love talking with you, Teresa. You give and bring so much value. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
And thank
having
you
me,
to
ladies.
You're welcome. So where else can we find you, Teresa? How can people get in touch with you?
You can go to AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com. You can find me at, if you want to send me an email directly, Teresa Velardi, TeresaVelardi @gmail.com. Or a daily gift book series at gmail.com as well. Any one of the websites has a way for you to leave me a message, I believe. So that would be helpful. And social media.
Awesome. Helen, where can we find you?
Yes, thank you so much for coming on, Teresa. I really enjoyed this conversation and I got a lot from it, and I'm sure our listeners will too. So everybody go check her out. You can find me on Helofajourney, Helofa Journey. And also you have one more year this year to get your copy of my original book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. That is available on Amazon. And just Google it. Google Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, and Helen Edwards, and my name will pop right up. So follow my journey because I'm writing the sequel, which is What's Sexier Than Freedom? Question mark. Ask yourself that. All right, January, where can they find you?
You can find me januaryliddell.com. That's Liddell. That's two D's, two L's.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram, Anchored Financial LLC, or you can just Google my name and you'll find me. You can buy my book on Amazon, on Barnes& and Nobles, on Walmart.com. If you are in Indiana, the book is in Open Door. If you're in Wyoming, it's at Win City Bookstore. So I'm excited for more to come, but thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. Aloha.
I hear it.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at sexyfreedommedia.com.